Everybody, as you can see, I built a castle door opener for my shed, and I'm messing around with it in the background, opening and closing it. So let's take a closer look about how I built the base and the shed and the door opener. As you can see, the door opens and closes, and I have a drawbridge door, a ramp for my shed, along with extra workspace if I need it. If you want to see the whole video, how it was built, just keep watching. The material for this project are 2x6s, 10 at 8 foot long and 2 at 12 foot long. I have 4 pieces of plywood, 3/4 inch. I need 4.5. My other half piece is right there. This is a 12 by 12 shed. That's why I have 2 pieces at 12 foot long and 10 pieces at 8 foot long, because essentially the doorway is at 103 inches. So I'm gonna be 2 inches shy after I put the floor together with the material I have, but that's okay. 2 inches is 2x4. I can pad up there or something. That'll be fine. This tarp door has worked for a while, but I'd like to upgrade, especially since I need a ramp. Might as well make the ramp the door. One of my other videos in preparation for this build was a tree about 2 feet in diameter that stood there, went up 100 feet tall. I removed it so I can build this ramp and the door, and that's the remains of the tree. And when it rains, you just pack up shop and go inside. Lucky that was the plan. All the wood is inside the shed, staying dry. Hopefully my microphone's hooked up and working this time. Rained yesterday. Now I get to start working by myself because my sons don't care. I bought 4 pieces of plywood. I don't know why I needed 4.5 for a 12 by 12 floor. This is 12 by 8. 1, 2, 3 pieces of plywood. I don't know, I wasn't thinking. But scrambled to get all this inside the house. My goal today is to frame the ramp. You can see why a ramp is needed. And another mistake I made, I didn't think to double up the 2x4s along the edge seams of the plywood base so I can really get a good nail in there. So I'm really going to be short 2 pieces of plywood. 2 pieces of 2x6s. I'll manage, I'll figure it out. One of these is going to go back here. We gotta change the angle. You guys can see what I got going on in here. Plenty of storage. Just need a better way to get things in. How about that? 16, 32. All right, good. I lined it up the same way. 16, and I think I only have 10 on this side. Gonna be short too. I have found that marking it this way helps me put the nails exactly where they need to go. I'm gonna use just a tiny little bit of shim to make sure this is sitting correctly. It's hammer time. This is where it gets tricky. I have I don't quite have 4 feet this way. I'll be back. I'm gonna use this, trace a little piece, cut it out, stick it in. Nobody but you and I will know. Okay, let's make ship happen. This is my piece, right? I'll try to jam it in there. It's gonna be tight. It's a little big, but it's one of those cases where life gives you lemons, right? What did I say last time? Life makes you a shit sandwich. Sometimes you gotta eat it. Not real happy with this idea. Gave away my belt sander. So I did just buy 3 more pieces of wood. This might be interesting to watch me struggle. Just want to lift it up so I can access the nails. A little bit higher. Oh yeah! Let me show you how to pull these nails. Using a cat's paw, dig it in. Pull it out. Pretty much done with light. It's not that dark, but still having a hard time seeing some of these details. Right behind the nail, get it in the wood. Pull it out. That's how you use cat's paw. So cute. So cute. They're just chilling there for a hot minute. Finally a nice day again. Go from corner to corner. Both sides are 169 3/8, so it's square. Now I can start laying some plywood. Put a piece of plywood down, screw it on the corners. Make sure you find your center marks and drive it down. Got a funny part right here. It's a little lip. Well, it doesn't mean that this is not placed correctly. It's correct in top and bottom. It means this piece of wood is bowed, so I'll pull it out and then put a screw down. But it's easy enough just to pull that and I'll screw it in place. What do you guys think? A little bit more work to do. It ain't done yet, but I think it's a pretty nice setup for now. Those doors up there are hinged on a piano hinge. It's a long hinge, right? Very simple. Gonna do the same thing down here. And I'm excited to say I got about a 20-pound steel, 6 foot long, 6-inch wide piano hinge. Could have gotten an 8-footer. What I wanted to do is put 2 6-footers on it. This is just shy of 12 feet. But I'm going to be cheap, and I think that one's going to be strong enough. We will find out if I need to add anything more to it. So next steps, try to get that installed. Gonna router that out, cut a groove first. Let's rock and roll. I managed to use more tools than necessary to get this flush with the floor. You're probably questioning, okay, there's a bump out here. What I'm gonna do is actually flip it over. So I need to cut a groove where that hinge, I don't know what this part is called, the rod holds in the hinge. I gotta groove that out, but nice and flat. I'm happy with that. And it's just for a shed. I hope it's good enough. We'll get there. Several days have passed and I've been splitting wood instead of working on my shed. My next step is to transfer the width of where the rod goes in this piano hinge so I can cut it out into this area here. So I'm just gonna cut out a little bit of wood. And when I was looking for a straight edge so I can draw my line, I almost forgot. I'm like, yeah, my piano hinge is a straight edge. So all I gotta do is cut that out. And one more time. It's not straight since I moved it, but good enough. I cut out the edge along the side, cut out a little piece, just literally the 3/4 inch or 1 inch, I don't even know what it is anymore, 3/4 inch plywood. I'm putting this in to test to see how it fits, and it looks pretty darn good. It looks pretty darn good. It's just sitting about 1/8 lower, so my cut was the correct depth. I did go in there about 1/8. I just need to take 1/8 off, and I'll use the multi-tool just to skim that edge off. And I'm real happy that I'm not going to hit any nails or anything, so I got just enough room to make all this fit. I took the whole floor apart, put the boards over there, just so that I can cut the edge, have access to this piece and cut the edge to the right depth from the top, and then a little bit of the 2x6 off the side. So a lot of work just to get a little piece done, but it's the only way. Put some blocking in the lower part where the piano hinge is going to go in the middle, so I can have a lot of wood to bolt it down to. Not sure how I'm going to put some blocking in on that side. Guess I got to remove some plywood. Easy enough, just takes time. So I'm just dry fitting the hinge. It's not installed. My daughter's playing with worms. How do you like worms, Kohana?
I like them. I have 3 Mama Juicy ones, and I'm making like a home for them.
Good, make a nice home for them. All right, let's get back to construction. The problem with the hinge like this, even though it looks great and it's nice and smooth across the top, let me show you the problem. When this hinge goes to open along with this floor, I made a mark right here along with the edge of the floor. Where does that hinge go? Where does that mark go? Where's the floor gonna want to go? All right? It's gonna wanna go in, down. Right, you see it's missing. So I can't bring this floor into this floor, right? Physically, you can't have these in the same place. So what I need to do is mark it. That's where the maximum it can be, so it has clearance. And I'm gonna have to separate, make this gap a little bit bigger. So That's what you got to do. Otherwise, you'll install this and not be able to close the floor. Or I'll have to start cutting into something. And yeah, no, I don't want to be shaving ½ inch off the floor after this is mounted. So that's what I'm up to. Hopefully next time I come back, I'll be either drilling holes, painting it, or mounting it, or lifting the door. Who knows? Maybe I'll be playing with worms. So that's what the gap looks like if I bring the edge of the wood to the line where it's supposed to be. My fear is that I lose some space where I can bolt on to this piece of steel. I did double up the 2x4s underneath, but I'm wondering if I'm gonna do some tests if I can split the difference, shift the hinge over a little bit, and I don't know, I'm gonna mess with it. Gave it a quick sand, cleaned off any rust. I think that looks pretty good. Just gotta put some screws into it now. Lag bolts, something like that. But there we go. Black on both sides. Okay, let's have some fun. Yeah, this hammer's been used properly and improperly. It's got its own war scars. A little bit of primer to keep it from rusting. There we go. So yes, I did need a hammer and a punch. So I needed a hammer to screw some holes. Then I needed a big fat drill bit, same size as the threads, with some oil. I just has some hydraulic fluid. I know if you use the right kind of oil, you get better results. Then I used a smaller, very thin drill to drill some pilot holes. And I have my tool that came with the lag bolts, and we drill them down. I meant to have that in a slower speed, but it worked. So let's try one more time. Ooh, gonna have to crank up the volume. All right, and the idea here is I'm going to stagger the holes kind of like I did there, and we'll see how well this works. I know on one of these I did hit a nail. On this one I drilled through it when I was making my pilot hole. Let's see if I can just do that with the chuck. Let's see when it stops. There we go. So I'm gonna have to force through that. Who knows what I'm in, a screw or a nail. Let's see how far I can get. Not muscled down. She's in tight. She's in tight. All right. Gonna put a couple more in. I don't know if it's underkill or overkill or how many is needed. This platform, I'm estimating, weighs about 450 pounds if I count up all the 2x and plywood. So hopefully it stays in, hopefully nothing breaks out. So this is the plan for the door: to take a winch, mount it up in this area somewhere here, and then get a line to come down, attach a hook, and let this door be automatic open. Just missing some electricity, but we'll solve that problem too. Yes, I am screwing around with this nonsense, getting this up. There we go. Getting these bolts tightened. I managed to get them tightened. You're probably wondering, what are you looking at? Where the hell is my hand? All right, let me show you where I'm at. My arm under there, and I got my knee resting on a lever to boost that up, just so I can get my hand underneath. This D-hook on the end, so I can hook it on, right? That'll be hooked on, and this pulley motor will be mounted up there. So that's the goal. That's the goal, just lift it up. See where I'm at next time I skip to the next section of this video. I put up some wood so I can mount the winch, also with the wire being centered. Just want to cut this screw tip off because it's too long. It's coming through on the other side. So this is the apparatus I set up. Screw through a board, 2 boards mounted together so I can give it a cut. Because I don't have a vise, so improvised, right? And it works pretty good. I don't want the tips sticking up top there, because I can actually crawl in that space above and they'd stick up about a ½ inch. So took off the tips. As I hang out and wait for my sister to bring me some tools I loaned her, my socket wrenches. This is the material I bought at Harbor Freight. It was 156 bucks plus tax. It's the 1,500 pound capacity, 120 volt electric winch. I can't figure out what this piece is for. If anyone knows, I don't know, shoot me a note, because otherwise it's garbage. I'm throwing it away. But if you want one, that's what it is. That's where I got it. Figured out what this red piece is for. It's to pull out the cable, in case someone was wondering. Managed to mount it actually and hook up these bolts right there with some flat wrenches. Let's pull this sucker up and make a connection to it. You see the way that's pulling? It's kind of like falling off. I'm gonna get it the other way. Now it can't fall off. Let's get some power here by extension cord and make it work. For now, the wires are just dangling off to the side, out the side. I got plenty of room. This is just a test, and as a matter of fact, I may just find a way to hide them here somewhere, because I don't know, I don't want to spend too much time trying to conceal these buttons. If you don't see the problem, I'll show you on the other side. I'm gonna double check plumb of this door, floor door, trap door, and I'm pretty sure it's the shed wall that's leaning out on both sides, simply because I used to have it on the ground and there's no cross bracing on the inside to keep that corner square. Something that can be fixed, but very apparent when you try to put a door that I squared against an opening that isn't square. I'm happy that I have sufficient clearance. It's got more on this side, maybe ½ inch on this side, 1/8 of an inch on that side. So I'm happy about that. And the other thing I'm happy about is, I don't know if you can see, I have sufficient space for the hook that's on the outside. You guys see it, right? On a 4-foot level. That floor is square. The back wall is square. The front wall has got nothing bracing it to go falling off. So if I take out a 4-foot level And right about there, it's like 2 inches on 4 feet. It's exactly my problem. Time to use that black hammer. Definitely want to make sure you're on the correct side of this board. Trying to straighten the wall by pushing it that way, well, this ain't really working. My boards ain't long enough, my screws are ripping out. So what I'm gonna do is take the winch, tie it around the tree, pull the top in that direction, plumb it, nail it, done. Welcome to another episode of Fuck This Shed.
Everything you're not supposed to do.
Do it right. Do it like this. Right? The idea is to pull the shed to the tree. Because the tree ain't moving. The tree ain't moving. Shed's moving.
Yeah. I don't think you can tell in the video, but you can see it.
Oh, you can see it move.
Yeah.
Will the door close right? We gotta brace it, and we'll find out. The idea worked. Cross bracing is in, both sides. Time to release the tension on the pole, on the pulley, on the winch. Both sides look like they can. This side looks like it can go out more. The other side looks like it can go the other way more. Measured across at a diagonal, this side is 171 1/4. The other side was 171. With a little bit of tension, I think it's gonna release. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, it moved a lot. So let's close the door, or try to close the door, and see what it looks like. All right, guys, let's raise the roof. You know what I mean, raise the drawbridge towards the pulley. I don't think so. I think it bounced back. Nope. Too close. Look at that. Kind of dangerous walking under that door, but yeah, I think I gotta go past plumb and then brace it. You see the bubble? Let's loosen it back up. Look how hard the shed is pulling itself in the other direction. I can't win. I'm wearing a bicycle helmet for fears that that line is gonna snap and whip my head off. All right. You know, the door was fitting kind of tight. I did try to merge it in a little bit more. I just ended up shaving a little bit of the door, and I just shaved a little bit of the edge. It's about a 1/4 inch tight. That's fine. It's good on the other side. Next thing I gotta do is run some electricity to this shed from the house. And then we're done. The running electricity will be a new project. This is just, you heard woodpeckers laughing at me. This is just a project for the hinge and the door opener. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for hanging out. Having some fun, right? You want to lift it up? Super easy.